The episode starts with Tsubaki dreaming about how adolescent boys put in a lot of thought about doing it. He is awakened by his alarm clock. When he arrives at the Kazamiya Municipal High School, a new female transfer student joins the class, Mikoto Urabe. Urabe is quickly labeled as a weirdo due to her abrupt nature, odd sleeping patterns, refusing to eat or socialize with the other girls, and a strange outburst of personal laughter during class. One day, Tsubaki wakes Urabe at the end of the school day when he returns to the classroom to retrieve his lunchbox. For the first time, her bangs part to reveal her full face, which he finds cute and very enchanting, even though she is drooling a little. After she leaves, he ends up dipping his finger into the drool puddle on her desk and samples it without thinking. It tastes very sweet. He almost immediately wonders what he has done and runs out of the classroom. That night, he has a vivid dream about a mysterious girl that he can't seem to get out of his head. He was being led by that girl by the hand as they are running on an elevated walkway between two tall buildings and then dancing with her on a hotel roof in a strange city escape. Several days later, Tsubaki suddenly comes down with a fever while in gym class and is laid up in bed for what the doctor diagnoses as a common cold. Hearing about Tsubaki's condition, Urabe goes to his house under the pretense of giving him homework handouts. The real reason is that she suspects he tasted her drool when he woke her up 2 days prior. Tsubaki admits to doing it once she tells him she won't laugh at him or make fun of him. Urabe puts her finger in her mouth to coat it with saliva and gets Tsubaki to suck her finger. This immediately dissipates Tsubaki's fever, and Urabe explains that his symptoms were the result of love sickness and of withdrawal from not getting any more of her drool, the drool from the girl that is so mysterious to him. Tsubaki goes back to school the next day feeling completely rejuvenated and is surprised to see Urabe waiting for him prior to his walk home. The purpose of this is to start their daily drool routine of letting Tsubaki taste her drool. As Tsubaki starts to fall more and more in love with Urabe, he has another dream about dancing with Urabe on the roof of a hotel in the city, and he then decides to confess his love to her. Tsubaki asks Urabe to become his girlfriend, but she wants him to prove it to her in a way only he can after a failed attempt at a first kiss. Tsubaki's way of making a move on her is to show Urabe a picture of his old middle school crush Hayaho Aika that he has kept in his wallet. Tsubaki explains that he's been unable to forget about Aika, that is, until he started spending time with Urabe. Tsubaki rips up the photo and declares that from now on Urabe is his girlfriend, which seems to greatly impress her. Urabe then explains the reason she laughed so loudly in class that one time was because a voice or premonition told her that Tsubaki would be the first person she would have intimacy with. They both declare to each other that they are virgins, and Urabe is so happy that she appears to vomit. Now that Tsubaki has finally told her that he loves her, Urabe walks away, but then turns around and shouts that, as of today, she agrees to become his girlfriend. One more moping about seemingly not having Urabe's attention, Tsubaki asks Ueno that if he hypothetically got a girlfriend, what his first move with her should be. Ueno questions whether he has a girlfriend. Tsubaki denies it, but means that there's no reason to. Tsubaki thinks to himself how they can have been going out for a whole month and have not done anything that couples tend to do. The next day, Tsubaki again asks Ueno for advice. She explains that Tsubaki means camellia, hence the pattern. An incredibly surprised and shocked Tsubaki wonders how such a feat can have been achieved in the blink of an eye, and why she would keep scissors in her panties to begin with. A further confused Tsubaki wonders how she is okay with showing off her white panties in public, to which she replies that as long as it is only him seeing them, she is fine with that. Back home, Tsubaki tries to ask his sister if panty scissors are a thing, but backs down when she herself becomes confused as to the nature of his question. He excuses himself to do homework. Ueno says that Tsubaki needs to actually introduce himself to his girlfriend as first impressions are important. However, since Tsubaki has already done that on the first day Urabe came to class, he decides he has had enough of Ueno's advice but cannot figure out what to do next. That evening, Urabe leaves Tsubaki at a different point during their walk without doing their daily routine. Feeling even more dejected after all his failings, Tsubaki is unsure what to think, but is surprised when Urabe comes back, overcome by her erotic gesture, the drool-covered candy with its sweetness, still warm from being in her mouth, as well as his desperation. Tsubaki attempts to hug Urabe from behind. This incurs her wrath as she deftly slips out from his grasp and shreds some cardboard boxes behind him. She explains to never trip him down on a stool in an upstairs room. She tells him to close his eyes and to promise not to open them until she says so. Urabe undresses, then causes his heart to race, his body to feel as if it is on fire, and his nose to bleed. She explains that their drool is a special bond that allows them to understand what each other is feeling, and right now the reason he is feeling aroused and very hot is because she is also feeling stimulated. She apologizes for cutting up his notebook and they go home. That night, Tsubaki dreams about doing it with Urab on the roof of a hotel in the dream city. While she's doing extra duties after class ends at school, Tsubaki finds Oka and Ueno kissing in an empty classroom. Ueno implores Tsubaki to keep their romantic relationship a secret, and Tsubaki reluctantly agrees. However, Tsubaki begins to dwell on thoughts of romantic couples kissing, and the next day at school daydreams of kissing Urab. After school on their way home, Urab suggests that they relax on a park bench and begin doing their homework. But instead of homework, Tsubaki's mind is on how to kiss Urab.